for more information. Back in the game there is a line of orcs ready for battle. Hyunwoo is not taking a break and is constantly fighting enemies with the help of his pet. He's ranking up a lot faster than he did on his first run. With all his knowledge this time around things are a lot easier, but since he is late to the game he needs that advantage to climb the ranks quickly. After all the enemies he has slain so far he is currently level 24 and low rank enemies are a piece of cake for him now. He isn't the only one that has ranked up and Tangy is now level 15. Among the pets Hyunwoo has seen each one has a different stat increase per level. Seeing how fast his pet stats have been increasing he knows that Tangy is unique. His buffs are great and he should also be able to tank later. Even if he is a little annoying he is at least useful. They begin looting the defeated bodies of the orcs, looking for any items they can find. One of the orcs have dropped a necklace and Hyunwoo is shocked. He has never seen an item like this dropped by an orc before. The necklace gives him a new quest called the Heir of the Meadow Wolf Tribe. He looks at the item in confusion. The quest is a delivery quest and Hyunwoo must deliver the necklace to a raccoon. However, in order for the raccoon to appear he must first defeat a boss monster known as the Meadows Champion. Hyunwoo has a perplexed look on his face. The Meadows Champion will be pretty hard to defeat and the raccoon is probably just an NPC. A quest and an NPC he has never heard of seems amazing. It's a D-grade quest so he has to be at least level 30 and has a few more levels to go. Not wanting to stand around doing nothing he grabs Tangy and gets to work. It's time for him to grind. Not long later he gets frustrated. It's taking too long for him to level up alone after spending so much time hunting enemies he has only increased his rank by 1. Playing with a party would help him to level up much faster, but he needs to find people that he can actually trust and won't stab him in the back. His thoughts are interrupted by something that sounds like a bomb and he assumes it is magic. A battle is going on close by where someone is using magic attacks on an orc. It's a lone player who is a mage. His name is Mason and he has blonde hair and a blue cape. He's quite strong and manages to take out the orc without any problems whatsoever. However, his mana runs out too quickly and all his potions are almost gone. He considers just giving up for today. There is a limit to how much a mage can hunt alone. Suddenly, a figure appears behind Mason and begins talking to him. Seeing someone else in this secluded place scares him for a second. He thinks that it is a monster and when he turns around he immediately fires a magic attack without thinking. The person is Hyunwoo and he just about manages to dodge the attack that scorches his shoulder. Mason apologizes to our protagonist but Hyunwoo insists that it was his fault for appearing out of nowhere. Mason asks if Hyunwoo needs anything. He notices he is dressed like a traffic light and is walking around with a teddy bear. It's a weird sight for sure. Thinking that his magic power and casting skills are quite good, Hyunwoo proposes that the two of them form a party since they are both alone. Mason is on edge and doesn't want to get stabbed in the back by any players, but he also knows that it is hard hunting alone. In the end he agrees to form a party with Hyunwoo who smiles that he finally has someone to hunt with. Elsewhere in the forest we see more orcs challenging players to battles. A knight in large armor carrying a heavy sword is fighting these orcs. His name is Sean and he is a member of the Black Skull Guild. The same guild as the purple-haired guy from the start. He is joined by other guild members, one of which is a woman named Gain, and also a younger member named Junwoo. With purple hair he is excited as this is his first time being carried. His account was deleted in an accident before, and now the guild is helping him return to his previous rank by letting him tag along on adventures. The reason he lost his account before was all because of a character deletion bet he lost against a newbie. This newbie was Hyunwoo and Junwoo is the same purple-haired guy he fought earlier. Junwoo is determined to get his rank back and get revenge on Hyunwoo with the help of his guild. The guild begin to become impatient as they are not finding many orcs out and about. At this rate they will never help Junwoo rank up. Finally they manage to catch one just as it is spawning in. Junwoo rushes towards it, finally getting a kill after a while of finding nothing. The reason there aren't many orcs is because Mason and Hyunwoo are out defeating them all as a party. The two of them have a system where Hyunwoo gets the attention of the orcs and then Mason uses his long-range attacks to take them out. All they have been doing is rinsing and repeating this method and they are both leveling up at a much faster rate. Looking to the side they too see an orc about to spawn in. Hyunwoo offers to deal with it so Mason can conserve his mana. With his sword in hand he charges at the orc confident that it poses no threat. After defeating it he looks up and sees Junwoo who is also running towards the very same orc. Hyunwoo immediately recognizes him from the character deletion bet. Our protagonist reacts quickly by unleashing a leg kick to Junwoo's face. When he falls to the floor Hyunwoo apologizes acting innocent, pretending he thought Junwoo was a monster. Junwoo is aided to his feet by his guild members. He stumbles to regain his composure and get his words out. Eventually, he looks straight up, informing his guild that Hyunwoo was the guy that made him delete his character earlier. Hyunwoo stands wondering what is going to happen next, and Mason stands with no idea what is happening. Junwoo points at our protagonist making accusations whilst everyone stands around. Mason asks Hyunwoo if he knows this person, and he replies that he is just an idiot friend of his that lost a character deletion bet, and is now salty. This just makes Junwoo even more angry. He says that with 2 guild executives alongside him today he will pay for what he did. One of the guild executives called Gain tells him to calm down. She also says the same thing to Hyunwoo, and adds that he shouldn't test her patience. Hyunwoo seems unbothered and says he is not scared of their stupid guild, whatever it is called. Mason is worried and whispers to our protagonist. These guild members look at least level 60 and he doesn't want to get hurt. Hyunwoo just advises him to not get involved if a duel does end up happening. The guild executives seem pretty chill about the whole situation and prepare to leave. However, Junwoo gets angry, saying that if they leave he will report them to their higher-ups. These people just insulted their guild and it would be improper to just walk away and not punish them. The other executive, Sean, smacks Junwoo across the face with his comically large sword, causing Junwoo's face to become distorted like a fish. He hits the floor and the guild executives stand over him. They realize that if they did kill Hyunwoo then there would be more orcs around for them to level up. They begin to consider it. Hyunwoo doesn't back down from a duel and once again offers a character deletion bet. Whoever loses has to delete their player. Dumbfounded by this newbie's arrogance, the guild masters accept the bet under the condition that it is a captain battle. A captain battle is when 2 people from each side duel. After the duel the winner remains and the loser is replaced by another member of their team. The side that runs out of people first is considered the loser. The first duel is between Hyunwoo and Sean, who eagerly approaches our protagonist wanting to finally shut him up and end this in one hit. Hyunwoo is a much lower level and so replies that instead of beating Sean with 1 hit he will win by dealing 10 hits. Sean has had enough of his talking and comes at him with his heavy armor and sword. The attack is dodged by Hyunwoo, who also manages to make a cut on his opponent even through his armor. He says that's 1 and there is only 9 more to go as everyone watches the battle in surprise. Now that Sean is angry he recklessly swings at our protagonist, desperate to hit him with anything, as 1 shot will surely end the fight. Hyunwoo is like water though and flows through his attacks. Sean only gets more frustrated when he sees none of his attacks are landing. He should have him beat in level and items. How can there be this much of a difference between them? Hyunwoo retorts, everyone thinks they can win just because they are at a higher level, but levels and items don't matter here and won't guarantee victory in battle. Even if someone is a lower level than you there is still a way they can damage you. He lands another attack on Sean, which is his 3rd so far. His plan is to make Sean bleed from multiple wounds. It takes some time but you can take out a user of any level with this method. The duel is over before Sean knows it and Hyunwoo stands over his body. He moves his finger signaling to the other guild executive that it's her turn to fight now. This next battle turned out to be completely one-sided in favor of Hyunwoo. Gain was too intimidated by our protagonist's skills and was defeated without even being able to land a single hit. Thus only 1 challenger remained, the purple-haired guy Junwoo, who is the reason for all of this happening. He has a worried expression on his face. He spent all this time leveling up his brand new character, but he is going to have to delete it and start all over again. Just looking at Junwoo reminds our protagonist of his arch-enemy, Handik. They are both arrogant and spoilt and even have a similar look. This just makes Hyunwoo want to punish him even more. He points to the floor, telling the purple-haired guy to beg. If he does then he may show mercy and spare his life. Junwoo begins to freak out knowing he doesn't stand a chance. The game senses that he has increased anxiety and a rapid heartbeat. The system decides to award him by allowing him to enter a berserk state. His eyes turn red with rage as he unleashes a powerful roar. Using this rage he gets the confidence to run straight at our protagonist with no thought of defeat, just revenge. Hyunwoo remains calm. He always knew this guy was the type of person to get riled up way too quickly. He pulls his fist back and uses his giant strength ability, increasing his damage for a short time. The fist lands right in Junwoo's face and knocks him into the ground with great force. So much for his stupid berserk ability. The duel ends right then and there with victory being given to Hyunwoo. Due to winning he receives all the items of his opponents and he can barely contain his excitement. These players just keep giving him their items. This is way better than hunting monsters. Mason runs over, still in shock from the 3 battles that his new friend just won. He says that it is so cool that he was able to defeat someone of a higher level with just his technique. His eyes light up with admiration as he says that he is going to become Hyunwoo's #1 fan. The two of them get back to hunting for the day. At the end of the day, Mason sends a friend request to our protagonist. Hunting together was a huge help to them both and they should do it again sometime. Hyunwoo agrees and accepts the friend request while saying goodbye to Mason. From the work he did today, he was able to reach level 31. There aren't many innocent kids like Mason in this game and Hyunwoo is grateful for his help. He has a feeling that the two of them are going to get along well in the future. Tangi is exhausted from doing so much work and wants to rest, but Hyunwoo doesn't have time for all of that. He is now a high enough level to attempt the quest he received earlier titled The Heir of the Meadow Wolf Tribe. He needs to defeat the boss known as the Meadow Champion. Boss monsters usually spawn randomly in their area with a respawn time of around 12 hours. Hyunwoo gets angry when he sees that the boss still hasn't appeared since he has been playing for well over 12 hours. Tangi begs his master to rest. He is exhausted and can barely even walk. Hyunwoo begins to agree. He is tired too. They see a door sticking out of the bottom of a tree, and they think it might be a good place to rest. The door confuses Hyunwoo as he doesn't remember seeing it there before. Upon approaching it, they discover it is the door to the boss they need to defeat. Tangi is upset as he wanted to rest, but Hyunwoo is overjoyed that he can keep progressing in the game. Eager to get started, he enters through the door with a smile on his face, bumping straight into a tall enemy with six-pack abs. Hyunwoo's head is at the same level as this guy's stomach. This is the Meadow Champion he is looking for and his name is Dakin. It's definitely a threatening sight and the boss demands to know what Hyunwoo is doing here. Hyunwoo doesn't think he will be able to defeat this guy at his current level. He nervously holds the necklace up saying he must deliver it to a raccoon. Dakin attempts to grab a hold of the necklace but our protagonist pulls away at the last second. This happens repeatedly for a while, the boss trying to grab the necklace and Hyunwoo trying to keep a hold of it. Dakin gets frustrated, telling him to hand it over if that's what he is here for. Hyunwoo insists on handing it over to the raccoon himself since that's what his quest states. Dakin states that if he wants to meet this raccoon he must first prove that he has some amount of power. He is going to test our protagonist to make sure he is strong enough. Beginning almost immediately, Dakin grabs a hold of Hyunwoo's head with one hand, like a basketball. He lifts him into the air and throws him across the room like it is nothing. Before Hyunwoo can react, he is already charging at him with his sword in hand. A swing strikes the floor, shattering it from the sheer force of the blow. When the dust clears, Dakin looks down and to his surprise he no longer sees Hyunwoo. The floor is empty. Our protagonist advances out of the smoke hoping to get a counter-attack using the element of surprise. It doesn't work very well though and Dakin sees through his attempts, blocking and countering them with little effort. Level 31 is still incredibly weak and Hyunwoo knows this guy is far too strong for him to defeat. Dakin stands tall unimpressed with our protagonist's performance. If he wants to meet the raccoon then he is going to have to do better. He asks if this is all Hyunwoo has to offer. With his health at a low state, Hyunwoo begins to pick himself up off the floor with ambition in his eyes. He hasn't used all his power yet. He summons Tangi to the battle and asks him to provide some buffs. Tangi is annoyed as he was trying to get some rest and is already back fighting again after.
It's the end of this video. What? Like and subscribe for more videos.